Hey everyone, we are back with Seven Tails of the Seven Tails, and I have updates for you guys. So we're going to work on just picking up right where we left off. And there's big news in here in this pen also. Now, before I go over, I want to show you my hat. I'm so excited about this hat. My daughter just sent it to me. Very excited about my hat. Okay, we'll talk about that more later on. But here we are with Cisco. And he's had 3 days off, guys. Our intention is always to work with them every day, but sometimes life gets in the way. I have a calendar that I keep track of everybody that I work with, and these guys had 3 days in a row off. So when I came out here, they were a little bit nervous, but you can see how he's angling his head in towards me. He's curious. We're still fostering that curiosity. Now, Poncho back there, the white and gray one, when I came in, he was pretty nervous and he didn't want to come up to me at first. And he's actually pretty far along with his training. He's just rocking it. So we'll just kind of go over all that stuff. So I put his halter on last time without doing all of the steps. Now all the steps would be nose, neck, putting it around his head, and we'll see how he'll do with this. Are you ready? He's angled towards me, so he's ready. Now look at that, how he turned his head and he leaned away. He says, oh, I'm kind of nervous. Now I lean back and he comes in. I'm drawing him in. So let's see what we can do here. Oh, he says, I'm kind of nervous. Now, because he's kind of nervous, let's go ahead and do all the steps. So we're going to go nose. See, he has a parrot lip right now. I'm going to step back even more to try to draw him in. Nose. And this is why review is so important, guys. I'm leaning away from him, waiting for it. Patience is the biggest thing you need when you're training donkeys, guys. Nose. So here I can just stand here and wait for him, or I could start to reward the try. And the try would be him even looking at the rope, or the halter is what I'm holding. And step away. Okay. So he's like, I'm just kind of nervous. I could also change it up. I could introduce, reminding him that he gets paid for this stuff. Nose. So to remind him that he gets paid, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deep. Now, am I just teaching him that he only gets things, or he'll only work if he gets food? I'm not, guys. And the reason is, he was wild. He's a 17-year-old wild donkey. Right now, I'm just really trying to foster that relationship, the curiosity, braveness. Later on, we won't use oats at all, but he's also going to be comfortable with all of this stuff later on, where right now he's a little bit nervous. So if you had a bad last session, or they're having an off day, or the third thing would be that they had some time off and you come back out and they don't seem to be where they were when you left off, don't worry about it. Just back up to what they're comfortable with. Nose. Deep. I'm letting him investigate it here for a second. Now I'm going to pay him. Now, we don't always pet them while they're eating, but when they're comfortable enough for you to do this, if they stop eating when you're touching them or petting them, that's a sign of how nervous they are. And you can see he didn't stop chewing. He's comfortable with being petted. You ready? And remember, before he was leaning away. Deep. Now, because Cisco is underweight, you can see how his eyes dip in here. He's pretty ribby. He's getting oats and a low starch food, a low starch grain. Donkeys don't do well with high starch foods. They're very efficient at using all the food that they eat. They easily become overweight. Are you ready? Now we're going to do nose. Oh, I see animals running behind. It's Frankenstein, guys. They're playing. I don't know if you can see them in the camera. Nose. See how he leans away? He's saying, I'm not interested in that. So now I'm just going to get him to touch it with it open. So you guys know I don't record all of the sessions with these guys. And the last times that I was working with them, he was doing a great job leading. We're going to start target training with his legs more. We've done that a little bit, but not a lot. Deet. That's good. That's a good job. Now, I don't think I recorded this when I was getting him to put his nose in here. And I was actually taking his pay, putting it in my hand, and I was using a different halter, but I was holding it open here and then getting him to eat it through here so I can try to demonstrate that. Nose. And it could even be all the way open because it's just him getting used to having this on his nose. See, he's conflicted. Did you see how he kind of turned his head and then turned it back? Oh, and I forgot to set my timer. Nose. I could lean away and see if that draws him in. Here you go. Here you go. Look at. He's like, I don't know. I don't know about that. Let's step away and draw him in. Remember, stepping away, it's not saying, oh, you win. It's not a win-lose situation. It's creating comfort. Are you nervous? Are you nervous about this being on your nose? There. Oh, see. Okay, so right now it's touching his nose, and that would just be a baby step. I can put more pay in here, and now I can get it up on his nose more. And we just do that lots and lots to get him comfortable with this touching his nose. The food, the pay, it's helping to create bravery. Now, do you have to use pay? No, it's just how I like to do it, guys. Are you going to create an animal who is bitey or nippy? Not if you're doing it right. He doesn't get to demand food from me, but I get to offer it to him. They're going to keep doing what they find comfort in and what we allow. So if we don't allow them to be pushy, then they're not going to be pushy. Now, with that exception, guys, if you guys watch the Mustang and Burro comparison series, Doc is one of the donkeys, and he is pushy. He's a 1-year-old. That donkey is pushy. So then if you have a pushy one, you can see what we're doing to work through that. Okay, so now he's letting this be on his nose really well. You could see how curious he is coming over to me. Are you ready for more? So I'm going to put this around, grab it here. Now I'm going to try to get him to put his nose in it. Nose. Yeah, you're going to put your nose in there. Good boy. Okay, now before I even tie it, I'm going to pay him while we're doing this. Am I always going to do this? No, I'm just really creating that comfort for him. I want him to be willing to work for me. He was wild for 17 years. And all of them do. It doesn't matter what age, but they deserve to be treated with respect. So we're going to go slow. Now, even if you're doing this without using pay, we still are going to be treating him with respect, and we can pay him for letting us put the halter on. Now, you guys might notice right now I just have the halter. I don't have the lead rope. And the reason for that is the lead rope adds more. Just more. It's a rope. It's big. They associate ropes with snakes. So in order to keep this low key for him, I'm always at this stage of his training, I'm going to be putting the lead rope on separate from the halter. Now, one day he's going to be comfortable having that all at the same time, but we're not there yet. Now, the reason I'm paying him right now is because I just clasped that onto his halter, and I don't want that to be scary to him. Remember, all of this stuff is new. I'm going to re-aim the video camera so you can watch us leading. Now, that took 11 minutes almost for me just to get the halter on him. That's okay that it took 11 minutes or almost 11 minutes to get his halter on. We really want this all to be a good experience. So you can see there he's pulling away. I'm not going to pull on him at this stage. We really want to do all this training without pulling on him. I'm going to wait for him now. There, he took a step and it wasn't away from me. We're going to reward that by releasing the pressure. See, he has a parrot lip. He says, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm going to ask for more. He's backing up. Right now, I'm not going to release till he takes a step over towards me. There, good job. And right now I can pay him for this. You know, he's feeling that pressure of having the halter on. There, he stepped away. He says, I'm a little bit too nervous to eat. But he's feeling the pressure of having the halter on, of pressure on his pole, and not having complete control. Now I'm holding his food. I can get more. I want him to know he found the right answer. There he comes back over. Just giving him time now to chew. He stopped eating for a second, or not wanting that. So I want to give him a second to really come down from his anxiety. So we're just going to let him chew and have that 30 seconds or so with me not asking him any questions. So at the stage now, we got him accepting a halter, the beginning steps of leading, target training so we can start to pick up his feet. That's a good boy. So each time with his training, as long as I have time, right, I am going to put his halter on, lead him a tad, and work on target training. And then his session will be done. Remember, with these guys, you're only doing approximately 15 minutes at a time. And I got a feeling we're going to be going over a little bit with him right now. So I have tension, just a tiny bit, just making the lead rope tight, asking for him to come towards me. I'm not pulling on him. I want to let him figure it out. I want him to be a donkey who thinks about things and figures out the answer. Right now, he's turning his head more. I'm not stopping the rope. I'm just going to let it slide through my hand. I want him to say, oh, I feel pressure there. I'm going to come towards her. And later on, we're going to add more to this for teaching him how to lead. And that will be the normal of what I'm doing to teach them to lead now. There, he turned his head. I'm going to release that pressure. So even though he didn't come to me yet, turning his head is that baby step and rewarding the try. We can ask again. There, see that head turning? We need to reward that try. I'll ask again. Good job. Now that time he was leaning his body. Now he's finishing the step after I released. Now if he turns his head 1/8 of an inch, we want to give back more than he gave. And then it can be kind of like the second hand of a clock where it's just ask. There, he's moving his feet. I'm going to ask. Release. Ask. Release. Ask. So it's like the conversation just keeps coming. Release, ask. I'm waiting for that front foot to come over towards me now. I'm asking for a little bit more. That works, doesn't it? I'm going to pay him right now for this. See how he's turning his head away? He's like, oh, I'm a little bit nervous. We're like, that's okay. Nobody here is going to hurt you. You're totally safe. We got your back. So now I'm going to let him eat for a second again. This is probably only about his third time being led, maybe 4 times. And each time I'm leading him, it's not for a very long session. It's the baby steps, just introducing that. So let's see if he'll come with me now. And they don't always want to come with you. And when they don't want to come with you, something you can do is go in a circle. I'm going to try to get him to take a couple more steps, and then I'm going to pay him again. So now you see how he's hung up? Well, I don't want his feet stuck, so I could start walking with my toes facing his back feet. And you see how he stepped over then? What we're trying to do at that point is just get their feet unstuck. Now I'm going to let him chew his food. 10 to 30 seconds right now for him to have like a break before we start asking more questions again. Now he takes his oats very gently. You just feel his lips very soft. Think about how much food you're giving them, how much pay you're giving them each time. If you give them a giant handful, you're going to have to wait longer for them to be done chewing than if you just give them a small amount. Now, Pancho over here, he is pretty funny. He's kind of gapey. Oh, good job. A step towards me. He's kind of gapey with his mouth. So with him, I still am giving him bigger amounts. I think it's just nerves for him being so gapey, or that he wants the oats so bad. Okay, now I have a little bit of tension here, and he's not doing anything. I'm just going to wait for it. He's turning his head away from me just slightly. I'm not putting any extra tension. I'm just going to try to get where I'm more behind him. There, he turned his head just a tad. I'm going to ask again. Remember, this is a conversation. There, good boy. It's a conversation, so I don't want to ask and then just stop everything that I'm doing. And then we'll go a little bit the other direction. Okay, so he's had about 10 seconds or so. We're going to go this way. Oh, and look at how he's so willing right there to follow me. Turning himself. Oh, good job. There, nice work, buddy. Guys, it is so beautiful out today. It's like 47 degrees out or 50, and it's December. I feel so lucky that it's so warm out right now. Okay, now my toes are a little bit towards his back feet. I'm staying out of the kicking zone. Look at how well he's following me around now. That's a nice job. Okay, so we're going to call that good for his leading practice. I'm going to take off his halter. And then we're going to go to target training a little bit. Okay, so could I just bend over there and just try to grab his foot? Sure, there's other ways to do this. But with the wild animals and even domestics that are nervous, this is my favorite way to teach them to pick up their feet. Nose. See, right now, you can see he's not very willing at this moment. He says, I don't know about that. I can step back. Oh, look at there. Deet. Stepping back can say, oh, I see that you're a little bit nervous, and help to create that curiosity. See now how his head is following towards me? Good job, buddy. Good job. Well, good scratching, huh? All right. Neck. Deet. Okay, so I don't go straight to having them touch the long brush with their feet. What I like to do is start with a countdown. And that's a good way just to kind of check how they are. So I'm going to start with a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then deet. And I'm only going to go as far as he allows it. So if I start to get to here and he starts to lean away, I'm going to go back up higher because he's nervous there, and that's why he's leaning away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deet. Then he gets pay. Now we have done that countdown, and we are at the teaching him to target this long brush with his foot. We'll give him a second. You can see again where his head is. When their head is over there, that's not the best time to introduce asking another question. His head is still leaning away. He says he's still a little bit nervous. All right, you ready? Foot. So when I do this, I'm going to identify the body part I want, and what I truly want is his knee, but I'm going to say foot, and he's not going to know what I'm talking about. I'm going to touch his knee, deet, and then pay him. And you can do that for a while and then start to wait for them to pick up their foot. You'll know that they're good and comfortable with this because they're not reacting when you touch them. And when they start to pick up their foot, it'll be calm and controlled. If they're really nervous, it'll be quick. During the fly season, that's always helpful to get them to pick up their foot. Are you ready? Foot, deet. Now, during fly season, do I always put fly spray on them? The answer to that is no, and here's why. These are wild donkeys. I can get fly spray on them, but that might be all I can do for the training session because we're only working with them for about 15 minutes at a time. So during fly season, I put out a lot of fly traps, and that's what I rely on for it. Eventually, I do start teaching them to accept fly spray. However, because I only have about 15 minutes and I need to teach them to accept a halter and pick up their feet, I'm not going to go straight to teaching them to accept fly spray. Are you ready? There, see how he turned his head in? Foot, deet. Now, you guys see that we've been going longer than 15 minutes with Cisco here. But you can see he's still into it. He's still willing. We've not reached his max. So sometimes you can go longer than 15 minutes. But if he started keeping his head away from me, not showing interest, not being interested in what I'm doing, I would know that he's at his max. Foot. So now I can hold it here and just wait. We'll see if he will think of this on his own. It's not his first day of target training, but he doesn't fully understand it yet. Foot. Now I could come and touch his knee for this, like rewarding the try when he takes his weight off his knee. That could be a good step, a baby step. Foot. Oh, a big old breath he just let out. Letting him find the answer. Foot. Sometimes there's hay on my long brush here, and I'll touch his knee with the hay pieces to make it feel like a fly. And sometimes that helps him. Foot. You might hear pounding in the background. My husband is fixing their shelter. So we had a wood shelter out in the dry lot, and the donkeys have ate it. So he's changing it over to metal, and we happen to have 3 different colors of metal roofing material. So we're going to be using those 3 different colors. It's going to look like a circus, but it'll be functional. Okay, now he's still not doing it. I'm kind of tired of waiting, right? Patience is so key, you guys. He's curious. You see how he's looking at me. He's like, well, what's the answer? I want the pay. I could come forward and see if he'll come forward. You could try to lure him. But part of this is just him understanding what foot means. So I could come back and touch him, foot, and then I could pay him. As he understands, he will pick up his foot. So because he's already been going for well over 15 minutes, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of touch his legs with this long brush, get him used to that, and then we'll move on to the next donkey. See how he's turning his head for me or towards me? That means that he's ready. Are you ready? And they'll learn these words, guys. When you say they're ready, if they turn their head away like he just did there, he's not ready. Are you ready? There, now he says, I'm a little bit ready, but I'm a little conflicted. Just waiting for him. Patience, patience, patience. When you're working with donkeys, you need to have a lot of patience. It'll go slow, and then all of a sudden they'll know it, and you won't have to come back and revisit this stuff, or at least not very often. Are you ready? There, now he's ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deet. Now you guys might have noticed that he bent his knee more while I was doing it. When he bent his knee more, that told me he's getting nervous, so I stopped going that low. And I'll have him turn, and we'll try to do that one more time. Nose. Deet. Here you go. Remember, the long brush is just going to keep us safe. When he first came here and you're moving them from one pen to another so they are in separate training pens, he would sometimes throw a kick, and he never tried to connect, but he would sometimes throw a kick saying, hey, I'm tough dude. I could kick you if I want. Are you ready? There, see how he's ready? Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deet. Now he never changed. He never leaned away. He never picked up his foot. He never showed any signs of nervousness. Here you go, buddy. You want more? That was not enough pay for what you just did. There you go. We're going to do this one more time. Are you ready already? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now they got to stand still, and he didn't move, but 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deet. So him moving his foot just tells us that he's feeling a little bit nervous. I got to wait to give him his pay. It's all on donkey time, you guys. Donkeys have their own time, their own clock. Hey, here. Are you ready for this? Your pay? There you go. Okay, so now I'm going to go to his other side. We're going to do his other side with the countdown. And then we're going to move on to another donkey. So you see how much he turned his head there? That was a little bit blocking me that he's nervous. And he always has been a little bit more nervous on his right side. Now we think of so many like equines, they're good on their left side, but they're not good on their right side. Now some of that is from people working them more on one side than the other, but it's also because we all have a dominant side. Nose, deet. Here you go. Now we'll do neck, neck, deep. He's doing very good with those. Here you go. I'm going to give him a second. You can see how much his head is towards me. He's totally ready. Ready? Foot. Now, if he picks up his foot, I want to make sure that the brush hits him at first, or touches. I shouldn't say hit, but touches his knee, because right now it's all on accident. He doesn't get it yet. Foot. Waiting on donkey time. Deet. Here you go. Are you ready for more? Foot. Deet. Here you go. See him flinch there just when I was walking towards him a little bit to give him his pay. They get scared so easily right now. You're too nervous to eat that? Look at, it's pure yum. All right. Now that back leg, and we haven't done as much with the back, so I wanted to be doing the countdown. That's where was going to be where we start. Did you see him flinch? Let's go to where he's comfortable. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deet. Here you go. Now that's the first time I think I've done his back leg there. Now he just started to chew. He had stopped chewing his food because he was nervous. I've also noticed when you're feeding them their pay, they can be all light, just using their lips, and then they get a little bit nervous and they will scrape your hand with their teeth. They're not trying to bite. But if you notice that your donkey takes their pay really gently and then all of a sudden they're scraping with their teeth, in my experience, that's been a sign that they're feeling pretty nervous. Are you ready? See how he turned his head towards me? We're going to start up high again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deet. Now I got down to his knee, guys. That's good. Little delay on taking pay. You're a little nervous. You need more pay? That's not enough? How about this? Oh, there you go. That's enough pay, he says. He will work for that pay amount. Are you ready again? All right, let's do it. We're going to do it one more time, and this is going to be your last. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deet. So now I got just a little bit below his knee, and that's the first time. So again, anytime they start to shift, whether they're shifting the front part of their body away from you or picking up their leg or they're acting nervous, when they do that, retreat to somewhere that they're okay with. So if it's at the very top of their back, that's okay, just wherever they're comfortable. And then on the deet or the last one, then go down. Thanks for watching, guys. We're going to move on to Poncho next.